whatever you do has to be a consistent and repeated effort on your part. So it's about care, consistent and repeated effort. Everything that you do has to be consistent and it has to be repeated on a regular basis. You have to look at what you're looking for from what it is that you're eating and what can you substitute in a healthier way that, one, there's not guilt associated with eating it, and it's doing something for the body. It's also about controlling your environment with ourselves. Part of transformation, part of doing things differently, part of making ourselves better, being a better person, is also the conversation that we have with ourselves. It's not about I can't have this. It's about I can have it if I want it. It's about controlling your environment. It's about finding options that suit what you want for yourself more than the one that's not serving you, the one that leaves you feeling disappointed in yourself. The behavior is not going to change, the choices are not going to change until you become active in your life. You take responsibility for what you're doing. You make the decision that what you want ideally, which is, I want to be healthier. I want to feel better about myself. I want to look better. Your actions have to be aligned with what you say you want. Each and every one of us has tremendous control, and each and every one of us has control over our choices. We have to take responsibility for that. We have to say, okay, I'm an active participant in my life, in my health, and with my body. It is my choice to make the decision that I want. What choice do I make? You can have all the things you want. You can have them. Because we're all adults, and we all have that right to make that decision. But what's in your best interest? What do you actually want? Over the course of a week, well, tell me, I eat really well. Well, what is really well to you? Because it's all relative. Really well to me means one thing. Really well means to me that 80% of the time I am eating a whole foods, incredibly clean diet, which doesn't mean that it's flavorless, which doesn't mean that it doesn't have fat. It just means that it comes from the ground. I have to wash the dirt off of it. I have to cook it and prepare it with the cleanest ingredients that I possibly can. I decide how much salt goes in it. I decide how much fat goes in it. I decide exactly how it's cooked. 80% of the time. It takes time to say, I'm going to be present. The one thing you can do is controlling your environment first. That makes it easier when you're faced with the late night, you're alone, and you want to be comforted in some way, that you have the food choices that are a little bit better. And part of it is having a conversation. If you are serious about your health, if you are serious about making changes, and you have other people that are involved in your home, part of it is having an honest conversation with them. Now, if you have been down this road 10, 15 times before, and your husband, your child, whomever is like, yeah, whatever, okay, this will last 10 days, and then we'll be over and we'll have our Doritos back in the house.
We're doing the no carb thing.
Yes.
Okay, we got what,
because,
2 weeks?
Yes, and that happens. It does happen. So, in having an honest conversation and saying, listen, I have to make changes. I have to make changes for me, and I need you to be on board. I need you to be on board with me. Sometimes they will be, sometimes they won't, but ultimately it's still your choice to make the choices for yourself. You may not be able to control them, but when it comes to kids, you're buying it for them.
This is true.
You're buying it for them. Okay, I want to have something sweet. You got to go through the process. It's not just dumping a bag, putting the mixer on, and then bam, you have brownies. It's having to measure the flour, having to do the oil, and then when you're doing that, you have control over what's going in it as well. And there are plenty of substitutions that you can make when it comes to desserts and things like that, if that's your weakness, that make it a better option. I'm telling you, black bean brownies are out of this world. You have to know what works for you and what doesn't. You have to understand, you have to know what you like. You have to know what your weaknesses are. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong if we gravitate towards certain things, and there's nothing wrong with understanding our personality and kind of working with our own self to make it as efficient as possible and make it as respectful to ourselves as possible so that we feel good, right? So and not thinking about, okay, I gotta eat all my calories in by 6 o'clock. What happens with most people when they eat late at night, it's not the fact that they're eating late at night, it's the fact that they've consumed all of their calories by 6 p.m. and then they're overeating at 10 o'clock at night because they're either sitting in front of the television, mindlessly eating, not in control of the situation. Food is not meant to be a non-thought thing. You should be sitting at a table. We have got to start taking time for ourselves. We have got to start being mindful of what we're doing on a daily basis. Preparation, controlling your environment. Preparation is key. Preparation is key because what happens when you're not prepared? What do you automatically go to?
The
Easiest things, the junk, the things that are like just
mindless.
Right. So the more that you can prepare, the better off you will be. And trying to figure out what works for the body, what works personally for your body. Over the years, I have played with many things. I used to do fat-free half and half. I used to do Splenda. I used to do all the crap that I can't stand that people do now. I did it all. I took fat burners. I took thyroid medication. Every horrible thing that you could possibly imagine because I put this expectation on myself of what I thought I should look like, of what I felt I needed to be. And you know what? Really, nobody else places that on us but ourselves. Nobody does. Just as nobody can make you feel anything that you don't already feel yourself. So if you feel like somebody has some other expectation for you and your body, that person it's more about you. It's more about how you are feeling about yourself. It's more about how you are viewing your body. So weight is not an issue. Weight is not what we're trying to fix here. Weight is not our objective. Our objective is never weight. It's not about being 10 pounds lighter. You know that. You've been on the journey. You don't automatically feel better about yourself because you've lost 10 pounds. That's not what works because whatever is emotional, whatever is fueling that is up here. Food doesn't change that. Our choices do in fact change that. When we feel better about ourselves, that starts to change. Is it still a journey? It is. Will it change one day? Yes. Has it changed? Yes. Yes, it has. Yeah. And we have to be constantly reminded. But that's the challenge in focusing on weight alone, is that we will try to do everything we possibly can. We will tweak our diet in every way, shape, or form. We will cut out this. We will do this because we got to lose the 10 pounds. And then what happens? We lose our 10 pounds, and then we go back to eating all kinds of I don't know what. So do not go down a path. Do not start eating foods. Do not start eliminating foods that you do not plan on keeping that way for the rest of your life. It cannot be a temporary fix. Any change that you make in your life that is temporary, the change itself is going to be temporary. Period. So anything that you want differently has to be different for the rest of your life. It has nothing to do, you can't think about it as weight, you have to think about what are better choices. It's not about good and bad. It's not about good and bad. Because damn, the bad stuff really tastes good, right? So it's not about good and bad. It's about better for what we want. It's about making choices that are better for us based on what we ultimately truly desire for ourselves. When it comes to eating, when it comes to self, you are a business plan. What you want is your business. What you ideally want for yourself, whether it's better health, improved health, whether it's to be stronger, whether it's to feel better about yourself, whatever that is, and it cannot be, I want to lose 10 pounds, because that is not a business. That is not a business. It's not. That will be short-lived. That business has an end, and it usually then you go back to your old business. So it has to be about lifestyle. It has to be about what you want for yourself in the long term. That doesn't mean there are not going to be short-term goals in there. Your business plan is all about action. What do you have to do to get it? If I need to eat better, what specifically do I have to do? It has to be written out. You have to go home today, you have to put what you want on a piece of paper. You have to put down exactly, and I don't care if the page as long as from that wall to that wall. You write every single thing down of what is necessary to get that end result. That doesn't mean that you are attacking all of those things all at once. And in fact, please don't do that. Look at one thing. One thing. That's it. So even if that one thing is, I'd like to add more movement into my life. Great. Start parking your car as far away as possible and walk. That's it. That one little thing. Everywhere you go, every single place you go, you're going to the supermarket, park far away. If you have 4 bags, don't use the shopping cart to take your 4 bags to your car. Carry them. Carry your bags. Even you can do this with them, and I have done it like this, and I will switch arms because I think one side is heavier, and I will go, and then I will put them in the car, and then I'm like, oh, I feel good. That was like my little mini workout. A lot of people get in front of the mirror and they go, why do I look this way? Why do I feel this way? Well, what are you doing? I'll tell you why you look and you feel the way that you do. Based on the choices that you're making. And we all have control over that. So my son last night was sitting in restaurant, the hibachi grill restaurants. And there happened to be an incredibly large man, pounds close there. So he asks questions. So he goes, Mommy, how do people get so fat? So now, obviously I want him to try to keep his voice down. I don't want to offend anybody. But at the same time, it's, that person knows they're overweight. They know it. They know they are. It didn't just happen. They look at themselves every single day in the mirror. So he goes, they eat too much, right? So I said, in most cases, yes, that's the case. They do. So he goes, why? Why do they eat too much, Mommy? So I said, it's different for everybody. Why somebody eats too much is different for everybody. So here's a 4-year-old who's asking me, and basically saying to me, understands the relationship of, calories in, calories out, in a very basic level. But understanding that if you consume too much, you'll end up gaining weight. If you consume less, you end up losing weight. So you have to start thinking about, what is it that I'm consuming? You have to think about quality. For me, everything is about quality. There are very little things that I spend money on. Quality to me is incredibly important. What I am placing in my body is of utmost importance. Whether I live 10 years longer, I have no idea. Only the future knows that. I have no idea if the foods that I'm choosing have an impact over whether or not I'm going to live longer. What I do know is that I feel better about myself. What I do know is that through the years, in being my own personal guinea pig, finding what works for me and what doesn't, I feel good. Not only physically feel good, but emotionally I feel much better. I used to deprive myself. I used to do horrible. I used to go on every single diet that was out there. Horrible. Trying to meet this expectation of myself that I set for myself. And you have to embrace who you are. You have to embrace what is part of who you are. You have to accept the things that you cannot change. Accept the things you cannot change. And you have to change the things you're unwilling to accept. So if your weight you're unwilling to accept, then you have to change it. You have to do different. You have to create that action plan. You have to figure out what it is that you want, how to get it, and then the final component of that is what? Do you remember? Focus. Focus is the last component. Focus is, even when you don't feel like doing it, you do it anyway, because what you want is the most important thing. That's your business. There is no better business to invest in than yourself. no better business. You are no help to anybody else if you are constantly giving everything of yourself to everybody else and not giving it to yourself. You have to give it to yourself first. The more you give to yourself, and it's not selfish, I promise you that it's not selfish, and you have to get out of the mentality of thinking that it's selfish, because it's not. I guarantee the more you help yourself, the more you are able to help others. You have to create options for yourself, and you have to know exactly what you need to do to get it. You can't just walk through life going, nah, okay, grasp at straws here, I'll see what works, let's see if that sticks. No, you gotta be deliberate. You gotta be deliberate. There are curriculums when you're in college for a reason. Could you imagine if you left it up to some college student to be like, okay, you wanna be a doctor? Go ahead, figure out what you need to do. Go ahead, just go. Just take whatever classes you want, come when you wanna come. And one day you'll be a doctor. You want that doctor practicing on you? No, you don't. You want somebody who has been through the specific curriculum that is necessary in order to become a doctor. Why? Because it's proven. It's been created and established, and that's what works. It's not any different for ourselves personally, right? Do you guys make grocery lists when you go to the store? Okay. Why?
So you
don't forget something. So why would you not be that deliberate with yourself? Because I guarantee you, if you don't write it down, you're going to forget something. You're going to forget exactly what you need to do to get what you want. And it's a constant reminder. So when you write it down, it does not go to the bottom of a drawer like your New Year's resolutions list from 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, which happen to be the same. It's got coffee stains and rings, and we want the same thing, right? You got to put it someplace where you're looking at it every single day. Why? To remind you. To know that this is what I want for myself. To be that deliberate. It has to be that deliberate. The biggest challenge for most people is filling the gap between intention and action. Most people only partially commit to doing what is necessary to get what they want, and they will make a million excuses as to why they didn't achieve what they wanted. They will blame the fact that there are other people living in their home, when ultimately it's that person's decision, the choices that they make. Does it make it more difficult? Yes. Is it possible to do even without it? Yes. So you have to figure out, you have to fill that gap in any area, but specifically as we speak today, when it comes to your food choices and what you ideally want for yourself, you have got to bridge that gap. And if you don't, you will be in the same place that you are now, that you were 10 years ago. Continue, you may be successful for, 6 months, and then you go back. And then you say it didn't work. No, diets work, by the way. Diets work. They're not intended to be used for 2 weeks. They work. It's just a matter of, do they work for you? Because it isn't kind of what you do. If you're a meat eater and vegetables, paleo might work for you. Do you like to have a glass of wine? Because that's not on the paleo diet. Do you like, dairy? That's not on the paleo diet. Do you like beans? Because that's not on the paleo diet. So if you find something that works for you, great. Who am I to say that you shouldn't be following any specific diet? If it works and it keeps you more, it keeps you focused, great. But you better do it from now for the rest of your life. Because Atkins and all those things, they work. Fat flush, all of those things. Why? Because they're limited calories and they're about caloric intake overall. But you have to do it forever. It's not about doing it for 2 weeks, obtaining your goal, and then going back and doing everything you did before. That's not what they're designed to do. Every diet book, as much as I hate a lot of them that are on the market, they work. They work if you follow them for the rest of your life. So going forward, don't think about good or bad. With anything that you eat, think about better for me. Better based on what I want for myself. Can I pick something and make it a better choice for me? Not always healthier, but is there a better choice? Can I make it differently? Can I do different? The answer is usually 99.99999% of the time, yes. Can you do differently? Absolutely, 100% yes. I'm very, very, very adamant about this. Do not use exercise as a weight loss tool. I know that every magazine, almost every article you read will tell you that in order to have weight loss maintenance and to be successful with weight loss, it's about exercise and diet. No, it is about diet. Because the general public, which is the 95% of the general public, will try to use exercise as a means to undo what they're doing outside of the gym. I look at people when they're counting calories. Your calories don't matter in exercise. They do not matter. What matters is, are you pushing your body the way you want to push your body? That's what matters. Are you improving your health? That's what matters. Is your cardiovascular health better? Is your heart health better? Do you feel better? That's what matters. The calories don't matter. I can't stand when aerobics instructors and things talk about, you're burning 660 calories. That's all relative too. You may not be pushing as hard as me. If you are more efficient, you're not burning as many calories. I do not burn as many calories during exercise as somebody who is just coming in for the first time. Our rates of exertion are not the same. So you cannot tell me that I am burning 660 calories when you don't know what my heart rate is, you don't know what my body fat composition is, you don't know what my muscle to fat ratio is, none of that. None of that matters. What this is for is to be a better version of yourself, to be a healthier version of yourself. Outside is where you have to work on the weight loss part, where you have to work on the maintenance part. It's out there. It's not in here. This is just a benefit. Will you end up, can you lose weight by exercising? Sure. Will you be more effective addressing that out there? Yes. With yourself. Oh my God, I did this today. I took a Zumba class. I did that. I rock. Who's better than me? Nobody. I am awesome. That's how you have to be. And then you start to feel, imagine if you were doing that, like, I rock, I'm awesome, I'm good. You would never walk around like this, right? You can't say those things and literally be like this. I am so awesome. Right? You're like, I am awesome! What can we do today? Let's go, right? You feel good. So start doing that. I'm telling you, get in front of your mirror. Get in front of your mirror and be like, I am awesome! And then see how your day is. Just see. Just do it. And I don't care who's in your house. And if you have to, go outside and look at your mirror in your car and be like, me, I am awesome! I bet you your day is going to be so good. It would be, right? It can't be. How could you possibly have a bad day if you are that awesome? You can't. I'm going to make the best choices! Try it. Go ahead, do it now. Nobody wants to do it? Come on! Do it! Just say it.
I'm awesome!
I love it! Nobody had to believe it. I am awesome! Go ahead. Come on, Chris.
I'm pretty awesome.
That's all right. It's good. I liked it. Don't be embarrassed about it. It is okay to like yourself. It is okay to think that you are pretty awesome. Because you are. You are pretty awesome. Right? We wouldn't have made it this far if we totally sucked, right? It just wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't have happened, right? We would be, I don't know, someplace else. Probably not here. And we weren't at least a little bit awesome, right? Take some time, but try it. I'm telling you, go home, do it. You're gonna feel really good. Do it in your car. You're gonna get in the car. I do all kinds of crazy things in my car too. I'm crazy. I rock out of my car. I don't even care. People probably videotape me. There's probably me YouTube someplace on there, like rocking out. I'm like this. I raise the roof. I raise the roof. If I'm in a stoplight, sometimes I raise the roof like this. So I'm driving with my.
Wow.
You have to know. You have to believe in what you're doing. You have to feel that you're worth it. You have to know that you are awesome. That's how you have to be. That energy then, it translates to everything. Your work is better. The choices that you make are better. You have to believe that you are worth it and you are that awesome. Yeah, you have to know it, and you got to say it. You got to say it. Why? Because we are what we repeatedly do. If you repeatedly say, I am awesome, I'm going to make good choices, I rock, I love my booty, I love my legs, I'm strong, I can do this, I can do a Zumba class, I can take an IIT class, I can pedal the bike, I may be exhausted, I may not be able to do all of it, who gives a shit? I am doing all of this, I am feeling better, I am making good food choices, and every once in a while, I'm going to have an ice cream cone, I'm going to eat a Dorito, but most of the time, I'm doing everything that I need to do. I'm going to be eating good, and I'm going to feel good, and I am awesome.
Wow.
Don't you feel good? Don't you feel a little bit more awesome right now? Even though you did say, you said that I am awesome. You feel a little bit better. That's it. Unless you guys have any questions. I'm letting you leave with the awesomeness that is you. You are awesome.
Now we know what you are when you come in class.
That what?
Now we know what you are when you come in class.
I am on my awesomeness.
Yes.
I do it. I have to. Could you imagine if I came in as an instructor and was like, we're going to work out today. Okay, get some dumbbells. We're going to do some push-ups. Yeah, you're going to get down like this. We'll do some push-ups. And like if I did them here, right? What you do some push-ups. That's really good. That's good. Really good. Some jumping jacks. That would suck. I would walk out of the class. Wouldn't you not?
The whole class would be looking at
Could you imagine?
Like, it was a long hour.
Yes.
I would not stay for the hour. I would be like, peace. You go find some crazy bitch to teach a class, right?